Trauma Chat with L&L takes the complexity of trauma and makes it bite-sized.
Our goal is not to minimize it, but to normalize having the conversations about the experiences that many of us have had without always knowing how to cope.
Trauma recovery is possible. Healing from past hurts or even recent hurts is possible.
And we're both trauma therapists, so let's talk about it. I'm LaQuisha Fonrose, a therapist, speaker, author, and owner of Holistic Quest Wellness. I'm a licensed clinical social worker and certified EFT practitioner, which stands for Emotional Freedom Technique. And I specialize in supporting individuals and communities by discovering tools, strategies, and insights to have a better relationship with their thoughts and feelings so that they feel more control in their lives.
And I'm Leticia Vaca Williams, a therapist, speaker, and owner of Urban Health Group, Inc. I'm a licensed clinical social worker. I'm certified in brain spotting, certified in EMDR, and I'm an experienced medical social worker. Urban Health Group is a boutique-style concierge for healthcare navigation and mental health support. Our ultimate goal is to empower Black, Indigenous people of color with tools and supports to effectively navigate their health and mental health needs for better wellness.
Mind gets to going, just sitting still can create a level of discomfort.
So that kind of leads us to therapy versus what's therapeutic, right? What is, there's things that people do to take care of themselves, but it's not necessarily therapy. So talk to me a little bit about your thoughts on when people are self-caring and life ain't changing.
Yes. Oh my gosh. This one I'm so passionate about, especially because we want to bring more awareness to actual therapy and what that looks like versus therapeutic. A lot of people use therapeutic experiences and call it therapy. And I don't want to say that that's not okay, but I do want to highlight therapist is an actual profession, like trained professionals who go to school for years studying like the science of behavior, to help create change and to help people overcome real life diagnoses. So, we talked before about like the day-to-day stressors. Those could be addressed probably with some therapeutic experiences, right? Like hanging out with a girlfriend or going to get a massage or going for a hike, going to the gym. Those things are therapeutic and help you to sustain long-term sustainability with your mental health. But therapy is something different. And especially as trauma therapists, scrolling through social media or talking to your barber and thinking that you're getting treatment is not the truth. Treatment can only happen in the community with a licensed mental health professional who is a trained trauma therapist, because there are therapists who are not trained in trauma, who still do really good work, right? But it is important to make sure that you're in front of a professional who has a background in mental health.
Yeah. Or even the, specific issue that you're dealing with. Some had, kind of niche down, they focus on, I only work with people who have relationship issues or relational trauma, or I only work with people for me, it's a lot of healthcare professionals who are experiencing vicarious trauma. And I also see a lot of folks with childhood trauma who is showing up in their relationship. We uncover that, but they don't come necessarily for childhood stuff. But I tend to get folks who have had some complex, like over many years, many different type of circumstances that have overwhelmed their system. And it takes concerted energy, a practitioner who can contain those big emotions with you when they tend to overwhelm you in your day-to-day life. Like therapy creates the space for it. Sometimes I feel like there's not space for me in my own life. There's not space for me in my family and friends because they're dealing with their own stuff. So I just hold it all, right? And so I hear, and people will say what their therapy is. There's some people who, and they talk about it in music, and we may see it in art. I think about, um, it's a, Waukesha, I love that song, but he talks about talking to his cup, which is alcohol. And I'm assuming lean. I put my heart in
Mm,
all this. She's my therapist. That's what he's literally
mm,
calling his drink, right? His intoxication. People who get tattoos, this is therapy for me. No, those things are therapeutic,
mm-hmm.
and they do serve a purpose at that time, but it is not sustained, right? And it tends to be, and I'm not knocking what anyone is doing, but we look at, does it create sustained change? Or do
Mm-hmm.
you have to keep doing that thing to get relief? And
Yeah.
sometimes that thing is unhealthy and causes additional issues. For
Mm-hmm.
example, any type of substances, but specifically alcohol. We know that people who can't sleep, who are restless, they drink, but alcohol actually disrupts your sleep. It will help, you will become unconscious and, not have
Yeah,
a
fall
blackout.
asleep. Yeah.
But you're gonna wake up at 2 in the morning, and you're not gonna
Right.
feel good the next day.
Mm-mm.
And you're gonna feel like crap, right? So over time, we see people with like liver issues
Mm-hmm.
because you've only used alcohol for therapeutic purposes that did
Yep.
not result in relief.
Mm-hmm. So good. So good. Yes, I hear you 100%. And people will go to things that they feel might be healthy, or society says it's healthy, but it's still not solving the problem. So some people are like, the gym is my therapy, and I'm not gonna say I love the gym. I always start with I love the gym, but let me be
Yeah.
real. I do not love the gym. I do see it as an important part of my self-care routine. But if I feel like I'm going to the gym to escape all of my
Right.
problems, or the moment that I get triggered, I don't know how to work through my feelings, and all I can do is run on a treadmill. Like that is problematic. Or going to the hairstylist every month or every 6 weeks. Like, oh, my hairstylist is my therapist. Are you guys creating a treatment plan? Have you guys put goals in place? Like, have you assessed what your level of need? Like, all of these things, that's
Is
what
she
they're,
checking on you next week to see
is
if
she
that ain't
checking
work?
on you next
Yeah.
week, right? Like, all of these things we need to consider when we're saying, like, oh, this thing is my therapy.
Yeah.
Um, Therapy is a structured setting with professionals who have skills and years of experience supporting people through distress.
Yeah.
You can talk to anybody, but can they navigate you through your stuff?
Right. And some people talk to people who cannot help them and actually use it against them, right? So
Mm-hmm.
it can potentially start forming, well, I don't tell people my business, right? We know that traditionally within family structures, you don't tell people what's going on in this house. So
Mm-hmm.
that could be kind of ingrained, that I don't let people know what's going on with me. And you don't have to, but um, it's unhealthy to stay in the same circumstances that are actually beating you down.
Yep.
Your sense of self, your confidence. I'm not going for that job promotion. I'm not even applying for other jobs because I don't think I'll get it. The market's not great. I'm not going to even apply myself to things that may help me move further along in my journey. I'm not going to ask for help because ain't nobody going to help me. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not going to say that I have a need, right? Because it requires a level of vulnerability to be seen.
Mm-hmm.
It's easier for me to shrink. Well, that's where the cycles start happening. And what it looks like is this year looks like last year looks like the past 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
When I look back, my whole life has kind of always been like this.
Mm-hmm.
Therapy creates an opportunity to change directions.
Exactly. Exactly. 100%. And I heard you say, like, there is this idea of like, don't tell your business to everyone, right? Like, what happens is in this house stays in this house. I don't want everybody knowing my business. The really cool thing about working with a licensed professional is that we can't share your business. Like,
Yeah, it's
you know,
illegal.
right? It is illegal, even if we wanted to, which most of the time we don't. Like, once we're off the clock, we're off the clock, but we can't. Like, we would lose everything. just by sharing information. So it's probably one of the safest spaces to unpack stuff. And you get to choose what you talk about. You don't
Yeah.
have to talk about everything with your therapist, but maybe there are some areas that you like to work on and you feel comfortable talking about. Start there.
Mm-hmm.
And then as you guys build that relationship and that rapport and that trust, then maybe you will bring other things to the room that you might have felt worried about bringing
Right.
initially.
Right. Because I definitely have clients who are like, yeah, I know that's the issue, but I'm not trying to get into that.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't want to go. I don't want to. I'm like, okay,
Yep,
okay.
exactly.
At the same time, if it's over an extended period of time, I, as your therapist, can say, hey, that still seems like an issue. Do you think you might be ready to go there? Or what would it look like if that relationship was no longer that stressful for you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, oh,
Mm-hmm.
that's possible. Well,
Mm-hmm.
let's see what's there. But it's an opportunity to be goal to oriented. Sometimes it's processing. Sometimes it can be therapeutic to just say what's on your mind, right? Or get it off your chest. And I think that's why people do that with like trusted friends, or they do that with their hairstylist, or nail tech, or whatever the case may be, or some people their bartender, right? Their local bartender that you're
Mm-hmm.
sharing. It can be really therapeutic to share. At the same time, if you're a person who tends to be the go-to, you may have multiple people
Mm.
sharing some heaviness with you. What do you do with it?
Yeah, that's good. That's good. And then do you have, like you said earlier, do you have the space to unpack your stuff, right? Um, the having a therapist would be the space for that, for
Yeah.
sure.
Sometimes you want to be heard, but sometimes I don't want this to be an issue anymore, right? I'm tired of running into the same wall. I want to go where the pasture is green and there's like flowers and sunshine and clear, clean air. We can create that together. Actually, will help facilitate whatever that vision is for you, right? And for a lot of people, it's just to kind of feel free to be myself and do
Mm-hmm.
what I need to do to take care of me. It's really about getting revenge. People don't come in and say, I want to get them back. They may voice a bunch of frustration that's actually appropriate.
Yep.
Rage and anger are appropriate. Disappointment and frustration are appropriate. But do you want to always feel that way about certain
Mm-mm.
life circumstances? Therapy creates an opportunity to say, you know what, yes, that has been messed up, but I don't want to go there no more. I don't want to go through those doors no more.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm laughing because as you're talking and you're like this rage and frustration, I don't know if you hear this in your practice a lot, but a lot of my people tell me like not only, I kind of joke around, but seriously, like we're supporting people with like their mental wellness. And I'm like,
Right.
we're saving lives here, right? Um, but probably not the people that we work with. And probably like the people that they're in community
Oh
with, right?
yeah.
Like
Oh yeah.
like we're teaching boundaries, we're teaching coping skills, we're teaching all of these things, so that you create your own peace bubble, your own safety bubble, um, to protect yourself, but also to like my client said, those deep breaths saved a lot of people. I'm like, I'm glad they did.
Yes, there are
Yeah.
multiple benefits for you and the people around you
Mm-hmm.
when you are operating from the self that wants to like not yell at people on the road.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Who don't want to, like, that's an exhausting experience to get turned up all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the benefit of actually seeing a therapist, because we're going to give you tools, we're going to give you strategies, we're going to give you insights, right? We're not just listening. Um, that is a big part of it, but there's also other things that come into place to really help you ground and self-regulate when, like maybe you're out of alcohol, or
Right.
maybe your hair appointment is not until 4 weeks, or,
Or
maybe
gets
you're at work,
canceled.
it's canceled, because that happens.
Yeah.
Maybe you're at work and you can't go to the gym. Like, what do you do in these situations where what's therapeutic that you call therapy is not available?
Mhm.
Um, we're here to give you that relief, whether it's through our own techniques and strategies, or giving you things that you can use from the comfort of your own home to self-regulate.
Yeah. Yeah. So feeling empowered to have those tools, um, that self-discipline, that self-mastery, and
Mm-hmm.
you don't become an expert on everything. I'm not an expert on everything. Lucretia's not an
Me
expert
either.
on everything,
Yeah.
but I'm aware when something's off.
Mm-hmm.
And I have some tools to use to take care of me when I'm not feeling motivated, when I'm feeling drained. Um, we too are human beings who have had life experiences, and we know the benefits that it's a common practice, especially in the LCSW field, to seek consultation. If there's things that I get stuck on, it is part of our code of ethics that
Yeah.
we seek support. It's
Mm-hmm.
built in as a healthy practice. If I say, Lucretia, I'm stuck on this thing, I'm trying to work it out, or I've been going this, not for therapy, but if it's something specific around the practice or where I'm at as a therapist trying to move through my own day, she may say, you might need to take a week off.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You
And I love that you speak about like connecting with someone who can support, right? Like go into the community that you know, like and trust, that has the tools, that has the resources, um, that can help you navigate or help you create that boundary, right? That is that in consultation, we do that, but also in therapy, that's a
Yeah.
thing too, versus like therapeutic, like they might, girl, push through.
Yeah.
You want to take that week off, go get that money or whatever it is, right? Like those are some of the kinds of language that might be used,
Mm-hmm.
because they don't have that mental health lens to think about, oh, this sounds like exhaustion, or it sounds like whatever the case may be, right? Symptom
Burnout.
burnout. Yeah,
Mhm.
for sure.
So we want to stress everything therapeutic is not therapy. Only therapy is therapy. It is goal directed by a licensed professional. You don't always need it, but there are times you may benefit from having professional support. Even in therapy, there's a beginning, a middle, and an end, right? That time frame will look different for everyone. But when it comes to trauma, when it comes to cyclical things that you find yourself in that are not resolving, therapy can be really effective. Therapeutic practices are still useful, but they may not lead you in the direction that you want to go with your life.
No,
Okay.
not at all.
Any last words around social media misconceptions, trauma, mental health, therapy?
No, I'm just looking forward to continuing to take deeper dives in this work, in trauma, how we can educate people, give them knowledge, tools, resources, support, all of those good things.
Yep. So our trauma chat with L&L is to really make the complexity of trauma bite-sized so that we are familiar with it, we can recognize it, but also care for it when we need to. So thank you for tuning in.
Thank you. We just unpacked lots of good stuff
Please note this is not a replacement for therapy, but we do encourage you to use Trauma Chat with L&L podcast as a part of your wellness plan.
because we want you to have the knowledge you need to take the next steps.
And if any of this resonates with you and you'd like to discover how to move from surviving to thriving, please go to my website at urbanhealthgroupinc.org.
And or my website, holisticquestwellness.co, to connect with a licensed therapist where we provide a variety of mental health services.
Our links are listed below. We'll see you next Monday.